Episode 69. Nice. What's up? Welcome to the Pretty Decent Podcast, the podcast that barely meets expectations. My name is Javier, and I'll be your host. So relax, grab some snacks, and enjoy. All right, now let's get to the episode. Okay. I'm just going to cut right into it. Well, I guess before I owe you guys an apology because I know in the last episode I said that I was going to start uploading on a bi-weekly schedule, episodes every other week. But my parents were in town like 2 weeks ago, and I've been enjoying my life. Okay, sue me. Okay, send me to jail for enjoying my life and enjoying spending time with the people that I love. Okay, whoa. Javi is such a bad person for putting his family and his friends and his girlfriend before everyone else and before the podcast. But whatever. I know you guys missed me, okay? Because I missed talking to you guys. So, hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. But we're back, okay? I finally, came down with the final edit of my schedule moving forward. Now that, I'm back in training mode, work has been a lot more intense than before. I'm back to like that healthy lifestyle, although it's 8:30 p.m. and I should be going to bed in 30 minutes, but I haven't meal prepped for the week and it's a Sunday night and I have to be up tomorrow at 5 in the morning. But hey, it's neither here nor there. But you know what? Like, I figured I really want to record because it's been a lot of things have been happening lately, and I'm just excited. I'm back on the mindset of wanting to create. I feel like I've had that side of me kind of like hiding in a corner in the back of my brain. It's just been a lot of like routine stuff, like going to work, not even training or running at all because I've just been so tired with work. But now I'm like prioritizing, kind of like different aspects of my life. And yeah, I mean, like I said, my parents came and visited, and that was very nice. It was definitely something that I really needed. I really miss them. Obviously, I know I miss my family. I miss being able to go home. Not that I'm being held captive in the US. Okay, that's not the case. Obviously, it's a lot harder with, being a full-time engineer and, having a whole life here. It's rough, but, I also can't complain because I have a job. So, but, yeah, life has been treating me pretty good. Honestly, I can't complain. You know, Earlier this month, my girlfriend and I turned 2 months together, which that was pretty big. My parents were in town, so, they got to meet her, which that was pretty nerve wracking, because it's my parents meeting my girlfriend, like I had never had that before, like had to plan for that. So that was, kind of like uncharted territory for your boy. But yeah, man, like lately life has been pretty good. Like I can officially say, and this is just me, okay? I'm curious to see how other people are like, if other people are like this, but for me, if I know that I'm going to get back into the hang of running and training and putting myself into like this mindset of like, okay, I'm going to live healthy. I'm going to, eat as best as I can. I'm going to, pretty much like, and for me, it's going back into the mindset of like, I'm training, and like back to the daily routine. I like if I had, because obviously, my parents brought a lot of sweets and a lot of sweet stuff that I hadn't had in a long time, like my favorite candy from back home, or like plantain chips, and like a lot of stuff from back home. So I'm the type of person, I know I have no self control, and I know that once I start training, I will have a hard time following, like, it's not like strict, like no candy, no sweets, but obviously, like it's hard for me. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. You know, my girlfriend called. I had to take that because she just drove back from Indiana. But anyway, training, right? Um yeah, so I'm the type of person that, if I know I have sweets in my cabinets, I'll have the temptation to eat them. So before I start training and everything, I always do this, that I'm like, I'm just gonna consume every craving and just get rid of all of like the junk stuff that I have in my house. That way, once I'm in training, I don't have the temptation to just be like, hey, I don't have to be like, oh my God, I can't eat candy. No, no. Because then, like, I know myself. I don't have that strong of a willpower to be like, like, I just know myself. Obviously, especially in my house, because I don't know, I know I don't have to pay for it. It's already here. I'm going to eat it. So I'm just like, I just ate everything. Yeah, I might gain a few pounds here and there, but I know I'll lose that weight pretty easy. So I just go ahead and eat it all in one sitting. Do I feel sick for the next 2 to 3 days? Absolutely, yes. But it helps me reach my goals. So yeah, I'm just like, my parents brought me my favorite candy from back home. I ate those 2 bags. It took me like a week and a half to eat both of them. Well, I ate them all in one sitting. So I ate the first one, and then like 4 days later I ate the second one. You know, um, but like, obviously I'm the type of person that if I go out to eat and I have a craving for a dessert or something, I'll eat it, because I remember when I was back home and I was going through, and like, all of that, like, learning how to eat and everything, the nutritionist told me like, hey, if you have a craving, just eat it. It's worse if you just like stop the craving and then not eat it, and it just comes back and it's just worse. So, like, if I'm craving dessert, I'll eat dessert. If like I'm out with my girlfriend and she's like, can we grab ice cream? I'll be like, yes, because I've been craving ice cream. Or like if I'm at the grocery store and I have a craving for a chocolate bar, I'll grab a chocolate bar. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, yeah, I am training to do a lot of like physical things, but also like I want to enjoy life in the process. And it's not like I'm a professional runner or anything like that. So, you know, like sometimes at work, I'm having a rough day, and I know like at work they sell the sweet tart ropes, and I'm a sucker for those because those are so good. So, I'm having a rough day, so I just go down, I buy like the pack, and I eat them back at my desk, and now I'm feeling a lot better. Like, sometimes you just need that. But yeah, I'm back in the habit of training. I think I mentioned in the last episode that I was coming up with like a new training plan and like training schedule and stuff like that, where I can balance my personal life, spending time with my girlfriend, spending time with my friends and all that stuff, and balancing the running side and also the content creation side. So I'm excited for that. I started training again this like a week ago, pretty much, and I feel great. I spend money on shoes. I think also that pretty much motivated me to go back to running. And it's starting to get cold, so that also makes running a lot more fun. Obviously, when the snow comes around, that's no good, but hey, it does help out in the long run. kind of like just like taking it slowly and progressing little by little. I don't have any marathons coming up soon. I think I might do one in Champaign, the one where I did the half marathon earlier this year. I'm not sure about that yet, but I'm just enjoying my life, and it's been very nice lately. A lot of stuff has been happening in the world. The Bad Bunny tickets went on sale, and oh my god, okay, we gotta talk about that because those tickets are insanely expensive. I remember, um, ticket. I know Ticketmaster and Bad Bunny did the whole thing similar to how Olivia did the signing up with your email to get the pre-sale code, all that stuff. Oh wait, we're almost 10 minutes in and I didn't do the intro. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pretty Decent. If you didn't know by the intro, my name is Javier and I'm the host. So I'm glad you're back. You're here with us today. So yeah, thank you. But anyway, back to the Bad Bunny stuff. So obviously I'm a big Bad Bunny fan. If you didn't know that, but so I did the whole thing of like signing up for the email and like putting your contact info and all that stuff to see if you get chosen to be one of the selected few to be able to buy the tickets XYZ. And Bad Bunny had 3 dates in Chicago and all that stuff. And then like I think they went on sale, was it Wednesday? This past Wednesday. And I just remember like I remember they went on at 1 p.m. and that's when I'm at work. Like I hate whenever they do that where it's like right in prime hours when I'm in the office, and obviously I don't do it while I'm at work, but work has terrible internet connection because I work in a factory. So hey, obviously I don't do it in work hours. I did it in my break, but like I was like, oh no, like, oh yeah, I did get like a code to be able to buy them early, and I was like, oh no, it's 1 p.m. and I haven't, like, I saved my bathroom break for the tickets, and like the bathroom is like the only place where I get good internet connection for some reason is the bathroom. So I was like, oh no, like I gotta go to the bathroom. Luckily I had no meetings or anything at like or any of that thing, around that time. So I went to the bathroom and I like go on. Why are nosebleed seats almost $300? Like, I get it. I get that Bad Bunny is the biggest star in the world apart from Taylor Swift. But, like, he's one of the mega stars of the world, right? Like, he's worldwide, I would say. Like, yeah, Taylor Swift is big, but okay, Bad Bunny is pretty big too, okay? Especially in the Latino community, he's very big. And there's just been like this big boom when it comes to Latin music and everything around the world, right? So I'm fully aware of that, but there's no reason why nosebleed tickets should be $300. Like, there's no, like, I paid for nosebleeds to see Harry Styles, but that's because I bought the tickets pretty much a month before the concert, and that was my fault, okay? It was a last-minute gift from my sister, and I was fully aware of that, okay? I knew I was going to overpay for tickets, but, like, even the pit was, like, almost $10,000, and I'm like, what the? Like, who has money to be, like, balling out like that on tickets? And then I thought it was only me that felt that way, but then like also Ticketmaster, you gotta this is a side note, Ticketmaster needs to get their shit together because the whole site is ass. It takes forever to load stuff, and I know the internet connection at work is not the best, which is convenient because for me, it means I don't use my phone, so it's good. I'm more productive. But even like when I'm at home and I try to buy tickets and stuff, it's like ridiculously slow. So I hate Ticketmaster for that. But anyway, I thought that I was the only person that felt the same way about tickets being overpriced. But no, like a lot of the community was saying like Bad Bunny, like, why are your tickets so expensive? And like people on TikTok that there was this one TikTok that my girlfriend sent me that said like it was this girl saying how like she was on the phone with Bad Bunny from 2013, 2014. And he's like asking him if he would pay that much money for tickets for his concert and stuff like that. And he was like, no, like Bad Bunny, what happened to like, like everyone thought that he was for the people and like he would make them accessible and stuff like that. And like, I'm aware that there's a lot of stuff that goes behind how much you're pricing the tickets, but at the same time, it's like obviously people are going to pay to see him because he's one of the biggest stars in the world, but still, like, I don't know. It was just ridiculously expensive. Like, there's no way tickets should go for that much. I mean, Taylor Swift, what it was like 3,000 for like cheap tickets apparently. I don't know, but it was just so expensive. And like it was funny seeing the memes online. It was like there was one I was like, me a responsible POV, me a responsible adult going to bed knowing I was responsible and did not buy tickets to the Bad Bunny concert. And then it's the gif of like Stuart from, is it Stuart? From Family Guy, and like he's rolling to the side in his bed and he's like and starts crying because that's really how I felt. Like I bet he is one of my favorite artists, and obviously I want to be able to see him on in concert, yeah, in concert live. But there's also like I'm gonna draw a line as to how much I'm willing to pay for a concert. Like there's no way like if not even if I had that much money available to just ball out on a concert, I would do it. Because to me, there's other factors that come into if I'm willing to pay for a concert. Like, I have to drive almost 2 hours just to go to Chicago. And then, where am I going to stay? Like XYZ, a lot of different things come into play when it comes for me and spending money on a concert. Like I guess you can say like, well, heavy, but you spend $100 on a race and then you also have to travel. But that's different, okay? That's different because from a race, I get a cool medal and a t-shirt, okay? And I get the fact that I can say like, man, I just did that shit, But in a concert, yeah, it's once in a lifetime, whatever. But like, running is cool as hell, okay? But obviously, it's a terrible comparison. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate like everything is going up, but salaries are not going up as everything else is going up in price, if that makes any sense. Like, like I'm pretty sure back in the day tickets weren't that expensive. And even like, obviously I can't compare. Yeah, because I was going to compare like when I went to the Louis Tomlinson concert and I went to the pit and I didn't think, was it like I 170, I think it was, but that was the pit, like I was in the pit, like that's different. But obviously he's not as big as Bad Bunny, but like, for the price of nosebleed tickets, I could go to the Driver Era concert like 40 minutes away from here, or like watch Nile in Chicago for like $50, you know? It's like more doable. I don't know. Like, it was very frustrating because, you know, obviously if you want to buy tickets later, there's like the bots and all that stuff, and this is going to go up in price and everything. So at one point I was like, screw this. I'm not going to be spending that much money. Like, I got to be responsible. Like, I'd rather spend money on a PS5 just to play the new Spider-Man game, which by the way looks insane, rather than spending that much money on concert tickets where I would have to go by myself because my girlfriend wouldn't be able to come with me. So, like, Benito, I love you, but there's just no way. Like, you know what? I'm intrigued. Let me see how much tickets are going for right now, because it was just ridiculous. Like, it was just ridiculous, like how expensive these tickets were. Like, let's see. Was it March? No, May. Oh, here we go. United Center. It's March, sorry. March 29. Bro, why do I have to? I'm not in the queue anymore. Ugh. This is ridiculous. I hate Ticketmaster. We're not doing that. Anyway, probably the tickets are way overpriced still. But, you know, like, we're just going to have to deal with it. Because, I've given up because I'm not going to be spending that much money on concert tickets. Like, I'm glad that we're back to having live events after the pandemic. But, yeah, you know, like, at one point, like, I gotta be like, I'm a responsible adult. Like, I'm the one paying for all of my stuff. I can't just be balling out on tickets like that because I have other stuff to do. Like, I have to pay for, you know, I still have my beautiful student loan that I'm paying every month. You know, I have a car payment, I have rent, I have bills, I have everything. Like, it's just too much for a 23-year-old. But and speaking of the pandemic, I just remembered that during the pandemic, I had this whole like fascination with roller coasters and theme parks that I would like go into these rabbit holes for like hours and hours on end. And then like, there's just something about the engineering behind a lot of the not daily stuff, but like, you know, like you don't really think about, like, you know, like the roller coaster rides and the Disney rides and stuff like that. Like, all of those rides, the engineering behind all of it. And then, like, if you didn't know, I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan, and I'm a big fan of the live action ones with like the suits and like the animatronics. And I was just so fascinated by that. And oh, also, it's Halloween. See, this is what you get when I record late. Happy Halloween. You know, this probably comes out on the 31st. For Halloween, I had a mullet, you know. It looked pretty sick, okay? It looks like a dead rat on my desk. But happy Halloween. And, you know, speaking of animatronics and my fascination with engineering, I watched the FNAF movie. For those that don't know what FNAF is, clearly you're not a gamer. But it's Five Nights at Freddy's. I almost said Friday Nights at Freddy's, which that's what Jimmy Kimmel called it. Which, see, this is what happens when you get old people to talk about this type of stuff in like late night TV, because they know that that's what it's gonna get clicks online and on YouTube, because that's where pretty much late night TV goes for their views and stuff. Because let's be honest, young people, we don't watch live TV. Everything is streamed and everything. But Five Nights at Freddy's, man. I have a lot of thoughts about that movie and about just. Okay, because the movie just came out. It's on Peacock, so I think like minor spoilers. Okay, like I don't know if anyone really cares about spoilers, but I've been fascinated by the franchise for a long time. Ever since the first movie came out, all of the theories and stuff. Like, okay, you're about to see the very. If you hadn't seen my nerdy side before with like the Ninja Turtle stuff, this is even more like, you can tell that I'm pretty much a big nerd about a lot of different things, but I'm the type of person that watches Easter egg videos on like Marvel movies and stuff like that, and video games, and like theories, and like what's gonna happen next, and like did the creator do this because they're trying to this about the story and all that stuff. And if you don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's is pretty much that on steroids. Like that whole thing started, I think, almost a decade ago, and it's like, I don't know how many games, like I think 8 games and like a bunch of books, and it's just theories on theories on theories. And I've never played a single game because I'm a little bitch and I don't like scary things, but I like the lore. I like the story behind everything in that lore and in that like IP, all of it, all of it. I see a game theory video on Five Nights at Freddy's and I eat that up. I leave no crumbs. All of it, all of it. Like, just everything is so convoluted, and it's just like Matt Pat is a genius. Okay, like his theories, I love him. Like, if you don't know what game theory is, I think you live under a rock, and you should really invest. Like, he's one of my favorite YouTubers. I've been watching him for almost a decade now, and like I just love his videos so much. But anyway, like I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan of FNAF, but I would say I know pretty much a lot about the lore. Obviously, I haven't read the books or I haven't played every single game, but I watch gameplays. I don't have the time to play games, you know. I'm a pretty serious person, but I don't have the time to read books and like get invested in the lore as much as I would want to. Also, the games were PC, and I've never had a PC, so never really played them. But I've been pretty up to date with all of like the lore and stuff, and like when the games come out and like the theories and all that stuff. Like I watch the videos, and the movie, like I know it's a video game movie, and I know there's this big stereotype of like video game adaptations in movie or TV are always bad. And like there's always like, with the Mario movie, right? Like critics hated that movie. If you go on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's like had like a 30% critic review, but then like the audience loved that movie. Surprised? No, because critics always hate kids movies. I don't know, like that's just how it is, but like the people like them. Obviously, like the Mario movie, I loved it. As a fan of the Mario of Nintendo, I loved that movie. It was so good. Same with I think The Last of Us was pretty much the only thing that both critics and the audience liked, because it was very, very, very loyal to the entire game. I mean, obviously I think the writers of the game were also involved with it, and people were thinking like, oh, FNAF. You have Scott Cawthon, which if you don't know who he is, he's the creator of FNAF. He is producer, and I think he wrote also the screenplay for the movie. So it's like, oh, like it's gonna be like faithful to the games and stuff, and it is pretty faithful to the games. But at the same time, I know that when you have the original creator of something and it's adapting it to something else, they try and like change the story so that it fits into that new medium that they're going for. Like, for example, the Percy Jackson, right? Like the first movies, I don't know if Rick Riordan was attached to them. I think he was a producer or something, but it's hard to, go over a whole book in a movie, right? Because you have almost 300 pages of something and you're trying to grab the most important things and like group it into what, 2 hours maybe. That's like, I think back in the day, like that was like the normal. Now obviously you see movies that are like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but that's different. um like, for example, like, oh yeah, sorry, Percy Jackson now is going to be like a Disney Plus series, which, each season is going to be a book, that's great. Okay, that's perfect. Or even like Harry Potter, that's what they're doing now. Warner just like a few months ago announced that they were going to go the whole route of like a book is going to be a season, of a new show, all that stuff. And, you have almost 10 years of worth of storytelling through games, books, a lot of stuff that you're trying to concise it into. I think they signed the cast to 3 movies for Five Nights at Freddy's. Ever since I read the whole thing of Friday nights, it's messing with my head. Five Nights at Freddy's, okay? It's Five Nights at Freddy's. Don't listen to Jimmy Kimmel. But, it's hard. Like, I understand. I knew, like, going into the movie, it was going to be a reinterpretation or a reimagination of what the creator, like, it was going to have the basis of the story, of the lore, but it was going to be reinterpreted into it was going to retell the story pretty much in a different way, because it does grab the main plot points of the games, at least the first 3, I think it is, that it's based on. Like the purple guy, he is in the spring Bonnie suit, and like he killed. Okay, this is major spoiler territory. Obviously, if you've played the games and you know the lore, it's not much of a spoiler. But if you don't want to get spoiled for the movie, warning. But the purple guy, what's his name? Damn, I forgot his name. Anyway, the purple guy, in the spring Bonnie suit, killed the 5 kids, and like, the kids are possessing the animatronics, and like that's how the animatronics came to life and stuff. Oh, but he stuffed the bodies into the animatronics, so that's why the police wasn't able to find them. And like, then the pizzeria had to shut down, and like the bite of 87 and like all that stuff. Well, the bite of, it's not 87, it's 83, but that's a Markiplier reference. The bite of 87. But like the bite of 83 is not in the movie. Obviously, they changed a few things here and there to fit with like the whole movie format. Because you have, I think the movie's barely 2 hours, I think. Let me verify that. The movie is an hour and 50 minutes. It's not even 2 hours. And the games are, it's a lot of like dreams and like spirit kids possessing animatronics and like all of this. It's a lot of, you have 10 years worth of storytelling, and trying to concise it into a trilogy is very hard. And like, I feel like, and this is something, obviously I'm taking bits and pieces of other people that are fans of the series and like the games and stuff, and like to make my thoughts, like that's how humans work. But I really liked how one person said that, because the movie was in production for a long time, and I think the plans to make the movie originally came out after the 3rd game came out, which obviously, it's a lot easier to make a movie based on the first 3 games when you don't have all of this extra lore, just like all over the place, right? Where you have that the kids, there's something in the kids that when you unalive them, they have remnant and all this stuff. And like, okay, YouTube, don't ban me, okay? I forgot how hard it is to be a creator. But you know, like the kids and the remnants and like Mike's body being scooped out of it and then putting an animatronic into it, and like the Henrys and the all this stuff, you know, like it's a lot of lore that you have to, you know. I feel like I'm not going anywhere. But anyway, okay, here's my verdict. The movie as a scary movie is not that good. Cause if the way that the trailer made it sound is like it's a scary movie about robots that are unaliving in a pizzeria, and then there's a security guard, and he has to survive Five Nights at Freddy's, which, you know, like the whole game is called Five Nights at Freddy's because the whole game is you have to survive 5 nights as a security guard in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. That's the whole basis of the first game. And you go from midnight till 6 a.m. And, you know, obviously, you know, as you progress the nights, the levels get harder and harder. That's the whole premise of the game. But obviously, you know, that was the very first game. And now you have all of this lore where I think right now they're at the point where the purple guy managed to put his soul into a program, and now there's VR. And it's just crazy, okay? Like I'm telling you, it's bonkers how crazy it is. Like, I recommend you take your time and just watch where the timeline is right now. Because watch Game Theory, because he's the best at this, Mad Pat. And I will say, his cameo in the movie was one of the best things. I was like, oh my God, it's Mad Pat. It was like, the movie was a fan service, and I like that. I feel like we need a lot more of that. But the movie itself, it was PG-13. It was creative with the kills and stuff like that. I will say that. It's just so many things. Like, I know that it's gonna be an Easter egg filled movie, so you're always looking at the background and like trying to grab all the different things. And I would just say, like, overall the story, I feel like could have been better. I feel like it was too many like plot twist, and then you're just like, okay, whoa, like. But at the same time, I know like they're trying to get new people on board with the franchise. There's so many things I want to say, but my head is all over the place at the moment. So I'm just gonna say this: the movie is good. It's all right. As a video game adaptation, is all right. It's not The Last of Us level. It's not that type of good, but it is better than Uncharted. Okay? However, if you are a fan of the franchise, you will enjoy the movie for what it is. It's not a scary movie. It's a nice interpretation of the story in live action form. The animatronics, beautiful. The Jim Henson Company killed it. And you know how I know they killed it? Because they're the masterminds behind the original Ninja Turtles movie. And those suits, Michael Bay, he did not come remotely close to being as good as the live action suits from the original Ninja Turtles movie. And I'll go to the grave with that. But the suits, it looked so good that you think it's CG. That's how good it looked. And it's just perfect. Like, the way they moved everything, that aspect of the games, they captured them perfectly. Like the cuts of like the security cameras and everything directly straight out of the games. The fact that they built the whole set like perfectly with like the references and stuff, and it was, it wasn't a blue set or whatever they call them now, like the sound stages. It was like created, like they bought uh like an abandoned Home Depot, I think it was, and they built the pizzeria in there. Like that's crazy. Like that's the type of dedication. That's the things I love about when movies do that stuff, because it just shows how much appreciation they have for the project. And you know, it was a it's enjoyable for the fans. As a new, if you're looking at as a if you're watching the movie as someone that doesn't know that much about the franchise, you will be confused about a lot of the things that are happening, and you'll be like, this is not a scary movie. This is just a movie with scary stuff here and there and jump scares and stuff. The Balloon Boy jump scares got me every single time. But William Afton, that's the name. Okay, William Afton is the name of the bad guy. And like the whole thing, like there's a lot of like plot holes that you're like, wait, like for example, this is major spoiler territory. Why did William Afton change his name if they're not looking for him as the killer? Like, like there's no need for him to change his name when he's the one like is the character played by Matthew Lillard, the guy with like the glasses and stuff in the trailers that tells Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike, the security guard gig, all that stuff. That's William Afton. And, there was no point in making him have a different name or a different alias. If they're not in the look for him, they're not looking for him. So why did he change his name? Like that's a plot hole right there that I was like, okay, like there's no need for, but I think the big twist that they did change was making Vanessa Williams' daughter, because in the original games, in the games is Mike is Williams' son, and all of that stuff. But also, like a lot of new people won't understand. They'll be like, oh, why do you have a brown Freddy that like looks perfectly fine, but then you have this Freddy that's like all beat up, only has one eye and is missing an ear? Like, what's up with that? Well, for fans of the games, will know that there are two Freddys. You have normal Freddy and Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is the one that's possessed by the blonde kid, and the other Freddy is just a normal Freddy. Oh, stuff like that, like little things, like obviously fans of the franchise will understand, but a lot of things will leave new people scratching their heads like, what's up with all of this? So I think for what it is, the movie is good. Obviously I hope they make more. At least they finish the trilogy that they had planned, because now that you have set up like more stuff, I'm intrigued. I did like what they did with the time that they had. I kind of would have liked more of like I think like the way that I would have done it, director Javi over here. I would have taken it like, not taken all of like the crazy like as big as the lore is right now, but I would have taken it as what the lore was when the first 3 games came out, of like, okay, you're the security guard and you have to survive the nights, right? Like you have this, but every night you're uncovering more and more as to what's happening, right? Like, oh, like the animatronics are possessed, and then you slowly, progressively, you start uncovering more and more, and then like, boom, the plot twist, like it was William Afton, and he was the same guy that took Mike's brother, and like he's controlling the spirits of the kids in the animatronics and all that stuff. Like, and also Vanessa's character was kind of iffy, because like out of nowhere she just like changes, and it was very confusing. Like she's a really good actor. Like, don't get me wrong. I think she's in You. Yeah, she's Genevieve. I don't know what her name is in You in the first season, but Um, yeah, I don't know. Look, it's on Peacock. It's also in movies and theaters. Like, go watch it for yourself. Um, I want to hear what and read. Obviously, not what critics have to say because critics are dumb, but like what normal people think after watching it and what they think. Because obviously, I have a bias of like, yeah, I like you know, the franchise for what it is and how confusing it is. Like, I get it. I get the basis of it, but there's a lot of things that only fans and even only diehard fans will understand. Like Sparky, that's the whole animatronic dog. That's like a very deep cut. Or even like the way that the one of the masks of the animatronics looked. It looks like a doll. Like that's a like a reference from one of the books, and like that type of stuff. Obviously, it's like kind of like confusing, but anyway. Um. Also, I'm tired of the NFL. Like, we're gonna take a swift 180 because we're about to wrap it up. But I'm tired of the NFL just and the Taylor Swift thing. Like, the NFL is down bad for Taylor Swift. Like, the fact that I think on their X profile, the NFL, how do they have it? I think it's NFL Taylor. At one point, they had it as like NFL Taylor's version, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, how down bad are you for what's the word? Whatever they call it, people watching this stuff, that you have to get the Swifties on board to get more views on your games and stuff. Like, come on. Like, you're the NFL. Like, I was even like the fact that ESPN was covering Taylor Swift at the Chiefs games was just so, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I just like, I love the memes of men being like, oh, why do they have to pan to Taylor Swift after every hit? I'm watching a football game to watch men hit other men, not to be watching a woman and like a Taylor Swift, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Taylor Swift, amazing. Superstar. Famous person ever, right? However, you're watching the NFL to hit men hit other men. You're not watching the NFL to pan to Taylor Swift every 5 seconds of the game. And I'm glad that the Denver Broncos beat the Chiefs earlier today. Because the Denver Broncos are so petty that they started playing Shake It Off after they beat the living crap out of the Chiefs. Because apparently Travis Kelce can only play good if Taylor Swift is in the stand. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I'm so tired of just. I was over it. Like, it really. Like, whenever I was watching, like, First Take or something like that, and then they started talking about Taylor Swift's influence in the NFL, I'm like, oh my God. Like, really? Everywhere. Every TV show. Every sports outlet was just talking about Taylor Swift. And I'm like, how desperate. And that just goes to show how bad ratings are on live television, because you need the clicks from social media for people to start watching your stuff. So you go like, oh, people are talking about Taylor Swift because of the Eras tour, all that stuff. So if we talk about Taylor Swift being in the game and watching Travis Kelce, we're going to get clicks from all of the Swifties online because we're talking about Taylor Swift and like her influence in Travis Kelce's game, even though they don't care about Travis Kelce. They just care about Taylor Swift. Like, and I've liked YouTubers that talk about the death of live television because it's true. Like, live television has been on a decline since streaming services became a thing. And since, this like boom in YouTube stuff, like, like, for example, you have YouTubers are directing good movies. Like, I think it was the Raka Raka twins directed what's the name? They directed a horror movie and it got very good reviews, but it was produced by A24. Like A24, that's one of the biggest production studios, ever. And you also, for example, you have it with Five Nights at Freddy's, right? That became a big thing thanks to the YouTube community. And Blumhouse produced, an indie, a movie based on an indie game that just exploded thanks to YouTube, right? Or you have the whole thing with like influencer boxing, and you have KSI and like Jake Paul just having, well, they don't have boxing by the nuts, but like they have a pretty good influence on like younger audiences wanting to watch boxing, right? And you also have Prime. I don't really like Logan Paul, but I gotta say, like Prime, they're everywhere, right? They're everywhere. Or you have Mr. Beast, right? He's a freaking billionaire, and he made all the money thanks to YouTube. And like he has so many different Feastables is sponsoring, and then an NBA team. Like that's how crazy it is. Like like it's I just like knowing that there's a lot of old people saying like, oh, you being a YouTuber, obviously this doesn't count for me, but being a YouTuber is not a real full-time job. Like, are you sure? Like, that's not even a real job. Nowadays it is. As much as you hate the idea that YouTube is the number one form of entertainment for a lot of the population, it is. Like, I hate to break it to you, old. I'm trying to come up with an old man's name. Richard. I don't know. Old man Richard sitting on his living room complaining about all these YouTubers. That's not a real job. Let's be honest. Like, everyone has access to YouTube. It's free. Like you can literally there's everything in YouTube. You can watch whatever you want now on YouTube. Like, you want to watch SNL, you can watch it on YouTube. Like, you want to watch something about, I don't know, how to fix a car, you can watch it on YouTube. Like, it's the number one way to get, like, to be honest, I watch more YouTube than I watch any streaming service. I don't even have Netflix anymore. I barely use Disney Plus. Hulu, every now and then, but all of the stuff that I consume is literally on YouTube. Like, that's what it takes all of my screen time on my TV and on my phone is YouTube, because that's where YouTube is. I really, it's funny how back in the day people were always like, YouTube, being a YouTuber won't be like a thing that people will be able to do for that much long. And now people, like, kids' dreams is becoming YouTubers. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, that's the career that, like, so many young up and coming kids and adolescents want to do, is just be a YouTuber or be a TikToker or whatever, like an influencer. Because I mean, it is, I feel like being a social media influencer, as much as I hate that word, is such a get rich quick scheme. But like, for example, the YouTubers that I watch have been doing it for like a long time, and like, they talk about the hard work that they put into like learning how to edit the videos, and like they do the editing, and like writing the videos, and like all of that stuff, and like how they dropped out of college and like they decided to pursue like being a YouTuber full time and all that stuff. Like, it's a full-time job. As much as they hate, like, as much as outsiders hate the idea of like being a YouTuber is not a real job. I mean, a lot of people that came out of YouTube do big things out in the real world. Like, well, not that YouTube is not in the real world, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, YouTube is, I'll say, the internet is where it's just gonna make or break a lot of things, to say the least. Because it's just, like, the way that the internet works is just so funny that it's scary to say the least. I don't know where I was going with that. I feel like I just went on a rant on being a YouTuber. Although I'm not a YouTuber. I wish I was, but I'm not. But anyway, this episode was a mess, okay? But wait, I do have one more thing that I want to talk about. Did I? Did I not? Mm. Oh, yeah. So we're going to wrap it up with this. I got to give a massive shout out to all the people that are nice for no reason, because on Friday I was at work and Friday was a rough day for me, to say the least. I went to work. I wasn't able to eat breakfast at home, so I was like, you know what, like, let me go buy breakfast at work. We have a cafeteria in the factory, so like I went in, I got myself some breakfast, and then like I was about to pay, and the lady was so nice, and she just said to me, you know, you're a very fashionable person. You come to work dressed very nice and always, looking good. And I just want to say, I like your fashion sense. And I'm like, trying to hold tears. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate that compliment. And then as soon as like I I was like, have a great day. And then, I left. Then I texted my girlfriend. I'm like, we don't deserve lunch ladies because they're so nice for no reason. Because like, I mean, it is true. If I were to compare the way that I dress compared to other people at work, I will say I dress up very nice for the job that I have. I'm always wearing like, nice shirts at least. But yeah. And then you have, oh, and then Friday I was on my way because I went to a Halloween party with my girlfriend, and I had to drive up to her place, which is like an hour away. But so many things happened leading up to my drive to her house that it was just insane. Like, it started pouring rain, and then as I was about to go on the highway, the light for low air pressure, tire air pressure, whatever you call it, went off, and I'm like, oh my god, like, are you kidding me? And then I had to check the air, and like I could, like, it was just all messed up. And then I found out that after I took my car to get checked at the dealership, they had lost the little caps that you put over the air thingies. So that was that. And then like I had to be in the pouring rain, and I was freezing, and I was just like trying to fix all of that stuff. And like then I went on the highway, and I was just tired and cold and hungry. And then the party was fun, but I was cold and tired and hungry. And then like it was freezing, and it was a fun party, but I was tired and hungry, and I just wanted to go to bed because I had worked for a long time this weekend. This past week was, I worked like a lot, to say the least. I was just tired and hungry all the time. And then on Saturday, I went to breakfast with my girlfriend, and I was wearing some shoes that I don't really wear. It's the Converse, that the Chucks that I wore to the Harry Styles concert. It's like, they're very colorful, to say the least. And like the waitress was such a nice person. She said, I like your Converse. They're very unique. And I'm like, thank you. Because I never wear those shoes because they're just so different and they're very out there. So I always struggle. I'm like, I don't like, I've had them for almost over a year, and I rarely wear them. But this past weekend, I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to wear them. Like, I'm going to wear them. Like, screw that. I'm going to wear them. So I put them on and I wore them, right? So knowing that I got a few compliments out of them, made me feel good. So I told my girlfriend that, and she's like, oh, so now you're going to start wearing them all the time? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, it's just hard to match them because they're orange, yellow, blue. and green, I think it is. And it's just, like I can't really wear just any shirt with it. It has to be like very neutral and then just have all the color down there. But yeah, just, I don't know. Life has been pretty good lately. And the ladybugs are a good sign of it. So anyway, this episode was all over the place, but it's a pretty decent podcast. That's what you can expect when you're watching an episode. But yeah, I promise. Okay, I promise that I will be doing I'll actually go to weekly episodes. Okay, I've been feeling very creative. We're gonna be on a weekly upload until the new year. Okay, I promise. Depending on the circumstances, they might not all of them be video though, because I can't take this computer everywhere because it's broken. And I want to buy a PS5 before I buy a new laptop, because I really only use this laptop for the podcast. So but yeah, I'll at least an episode will be released every week. I promise. But anyway, this has been pretty decent. Episode 69. It was definitely a nice episode. Somewhat spooky, but a nice episode. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. I hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, my name is Javier, and I was your host, and I'll be here every week. Check out old episodes. Subscribe to the podcast. Follow me on Instagram. I'm more active there than the podcast Instagram. But yeah, take care, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take care. Peace.